Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Cruising your way on this episode of Off 90. Love for art and community. Meet a Rochester painter who is as interested in bringing art to the public as he is about creating it. In the tiny town of Whalen, they do things a little differently, especially when it comes to parades. This one stands still. And we'll head to Farm Fest in Morgan, which boasts an array of activities dedicated to the advancement of agriculture. It's all just ahead, Off 90. Hi, I'm Barbara Keith. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Off 90. While driving through downtown Rochester, you might have noticed that some of the public utilities have gotten a bit of a facelift. That would be the work of Rochester artist Bobby Marinas. His expressive personality comes out in his works, which are vibrant and alive with feeling. Bobby paints with an exuberance that drives him not only to create art, but also to bring art into the community. For Bobby, art isn't just an occupation, it's a way of life.
I love inspirational stuff. I always try to keep it around. It keeps my passion going. Every day I try to at least read or set up a few of these. This is a good one. Which side of the TV do you want to be on? Yeah, that's a really good one. It's like, because if you think about it, the people on the other side of the TV screen, when you're sitting there just watching it, doing nothing, they're living their dreams. Like if you're watching a movie, the people are actors and they're living their dreams of being actors, you know? I love art. Like, I absolutely love art. I mean, like, to the fullest, everything about it. Everything about creation. Whatever it is that you're doing, once you make that or perform that or sing that, you're bringing something into existence that never was there before until you did it. My name is Bobby Marinas, and I'm an artist. I love using my hands in the work because this is where I start to feel like if I'm really in tune with the work itself. It almost feels like it's like actually alive sometimes. I like to give the splatter to give an instant energetic feel to it. And then I like drips to kind of mellow it out. I'm a self-taught artist, and I think it's one of the main things, the key ingredient to being a successful self-taught artist is practice. And it sounds cliche-ish, but that really is what it boils down to, like practice, practice, hard work. You know, just keep going at it and keep trying new things. I don't like too many rules in the beginning. I like to just, wherever the color looks like it might fit. It's funny because I don't always like blending colors like right on the spot or on a palette. I just like to kind of overlap them, but if it happens, it happens. Oh well. Don't try to do a perfect picture every time. Try to see what comes out. Just try it, you know? And that's what I would do. That's what I've been doing. I still do it to this day. I practice and I take risks and I try to do anything and try to do it. The more repetition, I guess, the better chance there is that I'll absorb that, you know, and be able to pursue it further and produce something of better quality. This is my absolute favorite place to be right now. This is where all the energy is. This is a wonderful, wonderful place for energy. You know, I got a few stares when I started painting the boxes. But when I started jumping on top of each one was when people really started turning their necks. I was so in need of an art culture in downtown Rochester that I just ended up making one myself. Just me by myself, I would go and set up in the grass and start painting. Well, John Eckhoff with the RDA, he saw me and he asked if he could take a picture of me and my work, and then he mentioned the Transformer boxes. He sent me an email, and I applied and got accepted to do the ones outside the Civic Center. Yeah, the energy here does so much for motivation. The honks and the thumbs up, you know, and the people who actually get off, find a spot to pull over, get off, walk a couple of blocks just to come and say thank you is really motivating. This right here is the absolute epitome of everything I want to do with my art. This was me getting together with about 20 first through third graders and had them come up with a project and helped them with it, installed it and everything in the art center. This was done with the kids, and the interaction, this represents, you know, each kid had their own building to create, and each says something about their personality, and I feel that the smiles on their face and the way that they wanted to make a big city where it's like they're not doing separate pieces, they're all doing one together. So they have to come together, they have to interact in order to make this piece. You know, as an artist, people tend to be, you can get lost sometimes in being, you know, having everything be too much about you and your stuff. And I feel like when you do things like this and help other people to feel good, no matter how old they are, I feel like that means so much more. It holds a lot more weight to it, you know? Not even a year ago, I was living out of a motel, you know, and you know, didn't really have food or anything. I was eating leftover popcorn from the bleachers at the hockey rinks and stuff, you know, and it was all nothing. Like it's nothing to me now, you know. I figure like I've been through enough, you know. I've been to where I've had nothing, so why not pursue everything? What do you have to lose? Then you're right back to where you started. So what? Then start again. You know, it's not like it's nothing. It's really, really nothing. why not just go all out? Who knows? This might be our only chance out here, you know? This might be our only chance at life in general. So like, why not go all out? I'm a full-time artist. I try to do it all day, every day. I try to make it the main focus of what I'm doing in life, and that way I don't settle into mediocrity. I can't remember who it was, but they said, no need to have a plan B because it just distracts you from plan A. And I really love that. I really love that saying, yeah, I just don't give myself any other option but to be an artist. And you know, if need be, I will go and like work like a few days, some hard labor jobs or whatever, just to make money to pay the bills, you know, in the meantime. But for the most part, yeah, I'm an artist.
We're all familiar with the summertime tradition of the parade, sitting on a blanket while the floats and the marching bands go by. But in the town of Whalen near Lanesboro, that's not the way it works. Come with us as we visit a parade with a bit of a slower approach.
Howdy, welcome to Whalen.
It's a lot less chaotic than a regular parade.
It doesn't move. All the people do.
It's unusual. Yeah, very unusual.
Oh, it's unique because it literally stands still. I think many people go to moving parades and people know what those are like. So I think this is just unique that people can come and see what a parade is like when it stands still and you do the moving.
It's a parade that doesn't move. It's got a color guard that stands in place, and it's got convertibles that don't move. Sometimes it has marching bands that march in place, but nothing moves. You do. You move, but the parade doesn't.
People walk around the parade just to enjoy it and check out all the units, and we always say the parade is over when the color guard gets up and walks away.
I believe it was 1996. Whalen was only 63 people, and every other town had a little festival, and Whalen decided it wanted to do one, but didn't quite figure out how it was going to do the parade, because the main street's a block and a half long, and the parade would be over before it's begun. So we decided to have a parade, but the parade wouldn't move. It would just stand still, and the audience would move around it. Oh, they thought I was nuts. And I went to the city council, and they looked at me like, you want to do what? After a few months of hard negotiations, we finally got it figured out that this might be kind of fun. At first, people brought lawn chairs. They didn't get it, but they don't bring lawn chairs anymore. It's, they understand, they pretty much understand how it works.
It's unique and different, and it's a lot of fun.
And I had actually heard about it a long time ago, and I thought, that sounds really fun. And it's great. I mean, it is totally small town Minnesota, just taking a slower pace, a standstill pace. It's beautiful.
I live in Lanesboro, up the road, but we come and help Whalen Legion with their big parade here. Well, this is all right, actually. Yeah, it's and then we get to watch the people instead of them watching us. So, yeah. Come on down. There's plenty of things to see. There's plenty of booze. You can get some lefse, Remmergraut, and they have the best rhubarb dessert ever. And they have good sandwiches too. So.
I am the Fillmore County Cattleman Princess. It's way different. I'm used to going through and driving, but it's different. It's a new experience for everyone. They should all try it.
We just have a lot of fun for a small town. It brings us together, brings the people together, and working together and stuff. And we just have a good time doing it.
Oh, I think for the town of Whalen, it's a big deal. I mean, for the townspeople, it's you know, every small town has some sort of a festival, and it builds community, gets people working together on a common goal, and you know, it's been really good for Whalen.
And I think some people kind of wonder about it, but then when people make their first time visit, they're usually hooked. Seeing smiles on people's faces, and just as I walk through the crowd, hearing happiness.
Every year for the past 3 decades, farmers from around Minnesota and surrounding states gather at Gilfillan Farm outside of Morgan for one of the largest agricultural events on the planet, Farm Fest. It's an event that showcases the latest and the greatest products for farming. It's also a place where farmers can get the lowdown on the most up-to-date news and techniques related to agriculture. It's an agricultural festival at Farm Fest.
Along with the state fair now, it's really become a standout, demonstration of the importance of agriculture to Minnesota and the Minnesotans' recognition of the importance of agriculture to all of us.
It's a very valuable event for this area as well as for the people that are in the farming industry.
You can learn something going to these farm shows. If you really are interested and want to learn something, you can learn something.
Farm Fest is a yearly opportunity for over 600 exhibitors, farmers, producers, families from the area, as well as the entire state of Minnesota and 9 surrounding states to come together, discuss the new products that these exhibitors have, shake hands and talk deals and learn about all the new future of farming for the rest of the year. Even if you are not actually a farmer, there are so many different activities going on that people can get involved in. Lots of things for the kids. We have a lifestyle and craft tent. The conversations are going on in the forum tent are very, very interesting. And we also have some entertainment. So there's a lot of different things to do, and it's not just about farming.
My personal favorite is talking with all the farmers from across the state. Someone has some new technology that they just found, and so they'll tell us at the gate, like, hey, this is really cool, where can we find this? And I just love hearing the different stories and where people all come from. Being the first part of August is usually very, very hot. And so now this year there's a lot of more people than there has been in the past.
Yeah, Farm Fest has grown. I've been coming to Farm Fest for about, well, since I was born, I think. My dad's always been taking me here, and I think the grounds are about the same size, but there seems to be more people here. I'm a photographer, so I like to take pictures of the people around. I think that's the best, seeing the reactions of different people. I think a lot of the kids come and maybe even drag the parents with them. So.
Setup for this event takes about a week. So we start setup roughly a week prior to the start of the event, and it takes about a week to break it down as well. In addition to that, there's about a year's worth of marketing that takes place to make sure that the dates and the information and schedules and anyone who's going to be on a panel is going to get out to the public. It's a pretty big task, and I'm glad I'm not in charge of it, but I do know our operations director does a great job making sure that everybody's set up and ready to go. And yeah, it's a good year of planning that's involved.
We can have a bill before September 30th, and one crucial aspect of
it's a great gathering of the ag community in Minnesota, and it's very valuable to any public official to hear what people are talking about. There's a lot of real on-the-ground policy being talked about here that's very relevant to what I do in Washington. And my job in Washington is to represent Minnesota farmers, the Minnesota ag community, so it helps me do my job. It's very important.
So, I think it's a great event. It's always manages to be close to 100 degrees every day, and after all the politicians blow hot air in that tent, it's up even more. But, it's just a great part of Minnesota life, and it underscores again the importance of agriculture to our state.
My wife does craft fairs, and we went online and found that there was a craft show at the Farm Fest here. So that's how we got started. She does real well. Basically everything that we've got on the table, with the exception of this one, we've done something to. Whether we put 3-point hitches, fenders. This one here, we put the front tracks on it. We changed the back wheels. We painted. Now this one don't have a step on. Some of them we put a step on. Most of them are farmers that are looking for toys. You'll get an occasional person that's in town, and they would be maybe, say, 30, 35 years old, but they can remember driving this tractor on Granddad's farm, or he had one, and that's what they want, is a tractor that Grandpa had. The older farmers say, well, I've got this tractor, I had that tractor, can you build? I've got a couple of interesting ones that I got to try building, but I think we can do it. I think we can do it. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it. My grandson and I, like I say, he's getting into it.
When we first started the Farm Bureau Pork Chop stand, we actually had a very small tent. We sat around on hay bales and covered in blankets. We had a couple smaller grills. What's happened over the past 13 years is it really exploded. We had a young farmer who knew a really good recipe for a way to prepare the pork chops. It became kind of one of the very favorites here at Farm Fest. We started, I think the first couple years, we maybe had 1,500 to 2,000 pork chops we grilled. Now we grill approximately 6,000 pork chops during the show. We've had the same grilling team for probably the last 8 years. And I tell you what, they know exactly how to prepare that pork chops. We baste them in good old butter, and we have a special seasoning, which we don't tell anybody. We do order it in, prepared out of state, and that's kind of our secret. And we don't give that out. We will sell it occasionally if somebody really, really wants it, but that's our key and that's our secret.
One of our biggest goals for the future and for this event in particular is to introduce our Idea Ag interconnectivity and how farmers today can mobilize their farm using the internet and working together to keep moving forward in the future as technology grows. Farmer can go out there with his machine and he can have all the information right at his fingertips on what's going on in his field, and it can be sent directly to his computers at home or in his office or even across overseas if he needs to. That way you eliminate a lot of that middle work and you eliminate a lot of mistakes that way. So it really helps the farmer to be more on point with their production. I can tell you definitely that a lot of farms are adapting to this interconnected future that they have. It makes their production a lot easier, and it helps them to understand their farm and how to properly run it. The actual farmer, the person themselves, is still very, very important. Somebody has to run and know how to use all that technology. It's not just going to operate itself. You know, there's something to be said about the instinct of the farmer, just knowing things that are kind of ingrained in them.
That's all for this episode. See you next time, Off 90.
Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.